Welcome in, everyone. Let's see if we got this working this morning. Okay, so I'm trying something new today, and my goal this year has always, well, my goal for the last couple of years has been to do more video content, but there's a certain level of not enoughness that I have felt when it comes to doing videos, when it comes to recording audio, and just, mom life, looking a hot mess. I went to the gym this morning, and I showered, but my hair is still in a bun, and this is what today is. But putting aside more of the physical things to just be present and to just deliver a word and not make it about me, because I think I have especially gotten lost in, being an influencer, knowing that the words that come from me have power, just like they have power when they come from you, and being mindful of those words. And but at some point I made it about what I was saying and what I looked like when I was saying it and all the different things. And this year I want it to be less about what I look like, more about the message that's being delivered, and if it resounds with anyone, if it strikes a chord in you, if it sparks excitement or imagination or empowers you to go do that thing. And so today, my very first vlog on January 12th, 2022. It's still weird saying that, but today we're talking about letting our ego go and being willing to be a beginner, because I think in the online world, we see people who have been grinding privately for the last several years or months, or just put their head down and go to work. And then we see people who seem like they're insta success, like overnight success. They started one thing, everything they touch is successful. They never have hard days with their kids. They never look bad. They're always together. And just losing your mind. And it's a matter of, for us real humans, it's a matter of choosing your battles. It's a matter of deciding what's most important for that day. And so I read a quote the other day that said, insecurity is an opportunity to love people better. What you feel most insecure about is an opportunity to lead through that. And maybe you're not a leader as you're watching this video. Maybe you think, oh, I don't lead anyone. Well, if you have children, you're leading children. If you have a spouse, you are leading in some way your spouse, because in the Bible it says that wives have the ability to change their husbands, to bring them to faith. And if you are a wife, you have the ability to influence your husband, maybe not necessarily by what you say, but how you continually show up. And a lot of times in motherhood, I feel that same way. Like, I can say all these things, and one of the most exhausting parts of parenting and motherhood is repeating myself 1,000 times as my kids start to learn these new habits and behaviors that make them who they will become, brushing their teeth every single morning, putting their pants on, changing their underwear, like put your dirty clothes in the hamper, clean up your bathroom, like things that we have to repeat so that they understand the importance of it, but also so they can be a functioning part of society. It's exhausting. And maybe you're the person who has a spouse who's resistant to some kind of change. This last year, we went more natural with a lot of the things in our household, and my husband was very resistant to change, very resistant to change. We started doing therapies for my daughters who both have Lyme disease. I also have Lyme disease, and it's more of a natural therapy. It's not harsh chemicals and harsh drugs, and those all have a time and place, but I wanted to see if we could go natural and if natural would make a difference first, because I truly believe that nutrition, it has healing power. Like, I think, yes, there are some things that we need Western medicine for, but I don't think everything needs Western medicine. And I think if we can change things naturally, using our brains that God gave us and using the research behind natural remedies and really understanding how it works and how your body works and how your body, processes things. It's a process. It takes time to sit and learn those things. And most people don't want to take the time to make those changes. They don't want to take the time to figure it out, because this is a long road. This is not quick, easy fix. But putting my middle daughter on, asthma medication and inhalers 3, 4, 5 times a day and breathing treatments that, like, doing all of these things improve her quality of life for a little bit, but the extended whatever it is, I can't think right now, the extended ramifications of that, which I experienced as a child, that I felt like caused more issues for me down the road, are not worth it to me as a parent, as an informed decision-making parent who has done her research and who, like, that's not what works for me. And that's not what I choose to do, because, praise God, I have the freedom and the flexibility to choose my time at home with them while I'm raising them. And some of that time spent researching and understanding and talking to practitioners and talking to doctors who practice holistic methods and talking to other moms who have had children with same or similar symptoms or illnesses and what they chose to do about it, and just asking questions, being curious. So that's one of the things from this I hope you take away, is that everyone is a beginner. Beginners become better by asking questions and being curious. You have to stay in a curiosity mode. You have to stay in a learning mode where you are encouraged to continue to learn, and you're encouraged to continue to dive into why you feel pulled to do these things, why you feel like it's time to make a shift, why it's time to start your own business. Why is it time for you to go back to school and finally get that education that's going to help you take that next step into your bigger dream? Why do you feel like at 30 your life doesn't make much of a difference because you haven't achieved A, B, and C things, but you don't have a bigger vision for your life? And you want to start dreaming and you want to start being a beginner, but honestly making a vision board is kind of weird to you because it feels like a lot of woo-woo. And I'll be honest, in the last 5 years, I have very much been in that, like, I don't know if I could use my imagination this way. I wasn't raised to use my imagination. I was raised to go to school, go to college, get a good job, get married, have babies. And I did all of that out of order. I graduated from high school, went to college, played volleyball for a little bit, met my husband, got married, we had babies. After baby number 1, I went back and finished my degree. But I learned so much from doing things not in an orderly fashion, not just checking things off my list. And actually, because of a couple of different things, I didn't end up going through with the first degree that I went to school for. I followed through with a different degree. And I learned so much in the process of being at home, raising a baby, traveling with my husband while I was finishing my degree online, that built a new kind of resilience in me that I needed to step into the entrepreneurial world, and that I needed to empower me and make me feel bold enough to really own my crap and take that next step. And my word for this year is unshakable, because I feel like when you're beginning something new, it is really easy to get shaken by other people's opinions of what you're doing. It's really easy to be moved out of your conviction, because if you tell the wrong people are going to tell you their limitations, what they know, what they believe, what they see. And that's not what we want in the beginning. We want people who speak faith over us. We want people who speak belief over us. We want people who speak encouragement and empowerment. And I do my very best when I hear someone tell me that they're starting something new, or they're going back to school, or they're excited, or maybe they've had a really hard season and they feel like they're coming out of it, but they don't know what is next. I do my very best excuse me, to speak life over that. And my brain naturally goes to strategy. So when someone tells me they're starting a new business, like, my brain fires off and I'm like, oh my gosh, let me show you how to do this. Let me map it out and let's go through all the things. And that can be overwhelming for a lot of people. But for some people, they're like, how do you know how to do that? I don't know how I know how to do that. I just know that that's how my life has always been. I have seen a bigger vision for something, maybe not as clear as I see it now. And then I've just broken it down into steps, and I've given it timelines, and I've given it dates. I remember being 5, 6 years old and telling my parents that I wanted to be 2 things, a mama and a nurse, because that was an important job to me. And I went all the way. I did all the things. That was like, I didn't vary from that. And then once I did vary from that, I was thrown, because in my mind, this strategy was purely made out and I had to just follow through. Well, now, praise God, I didn't follow through, and it has been the best, most stretching adventure of my life. Becoming an entrepreneur while being a mother has been cray-cray because there is not a consistent routine. There's not a consistent schedule. Like we may wake up and go to sleep around the same time, but like last night my kids were up to almost 10 because we could not get them in bed. Like it was in bed, out of bed, in bed, out of bed kind of thing. I can set my alarms for 4:30 to get up, but I know good and well if I have a child that's up all night or I have a kid that comes to my bed at 3 o'clock, I'm not getting out of bed because I don't want them to wake up. So I will skip my gym workout that morning and just do a home workout because to me, them sleeping and me getting at least an hour of alone time just to do my Bible study, do some journaling is way more worth it. So be flexible. When you start to dream big and you start to be a beginner, be flexible about how things can be done and how it can be delivered. Don't be so, it has to be this way or it's not successful because that has held me back in the past. And let me remind you, I did not go to school for business. So this has been a learning process. And sometimes when we feel like we are going too slow at something or like we are not going as fast as other people, I wrote this down the other day. It was so good. No, that's not it. Hold on. It was so good. Maybe you're on a pace that's not popular, but that is purposeful. I have been on a pace that has not been popular because I'm in network marketing. And if you have been around network marketing, multi-level marketing for any amount of time, you've seen people go from brand new enrollee to like top of the company in no time at all. And I'll admit, I went really fast because I'm just good at sharing things with people. I just like to share what works. But that is not where it stops. You have to learn how to develop people. And in order to develop people, you have to develop yourself in the process. Well, when I started all of this, I was a new mother going through postpartum. I'm already kind of prone to anxiety and depression. So I was dealing with a lot of mental health issues, a lot. And I felt like it was important to be true to who I was, but also there were some days I just couldn't get out of bed. There were some days where I didn't have an encouraging word for other people, or I couldn't be, a great leader because I couldn't even lead myself. I couldn't do basic things. And the secret to success is consistency. Well, because of a lot of that, I was inconsistent. And I have been inconsistent because I have since then had 2 more children, moved across the country back and forth 4 or 5 times, have moved home, and these are all unsettling things. Now, there will be success stories of people who are going through a lot worse, who do all the things. That's not your story, though. And you should not compare apples to apples because they don't live your life and you don't live theirs. And so what they're going through and how they're handling things may be a byproduct of what they've gone through in the past and how they're handling that. And because they've had to handle things a certain way, that's why they handle things like this now. Maybe it's unhealthy. Maybe it's really healthy. Maybe they are succeeding at all things in life. That doesn't mean that you're not. Maybe you're on a pace that's not popular, but that is purposeful. All of my time that I have spent hasn't felt super popular or great, but it has been purposeful. There have been new visions born. There have been new babies born. There have been pieces of my marriage that have been unleashed and then had to be mended and healed. There have been pieces of me that have been unleashed and then had to be mended and healed. So it all has purpose. So as you become a beginner at something new this year, whether it's mastering those habits, changing your lifestyle, having hard conversation, cutting out toxic relationships, starting new businesses, building new relationships, whatever it is, I want to encourage you to remember that your pace is your pace. You have to decide what is right for you because no one else lives in your day. No one else lives in your mind. No one can tell you what is best for you. They can show you the direction and the roadmap that will get you there a lot faster, but you have to ask yourself, am I prepared for the kind of work that it takes to do those things in that amount of time? Or am I okay with the pace that I'm setting for myself that's a little bit slower, that maybe isn't going to receive all the accolades? Is it about accolades or is it about achievement and what that means to you personally? So really ask yourself those things. Find yourself a good community of support that speaks life over you. The best thing about the team that I'm a part of now is that regardless of the pace you're going, they will speak life over you. They will speak life and breath and belief over your dreams. Do they all want us to run at a fast pace and get to the top? Yes, because they want to see us be successful. And ultimately that comes back to their care for us as our leaders. But they understand when life happens. They understand when we experience loss or we have, major life events or whatever. It's about how we decide that we're going to consistently show up in that process. So figure out a pace that allows you to be consistent, and then give yourself the freedom and the space and the grace to let it be messy in the middle and share the mess, because there is a message that comes from that mess. I hope this message was empowering to you today. I hope that you feel inspired to take that next step, whatever it is. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you're someone who is looking at starting something brand new, especially a business, if you're an entrepreneur or you're going back to school or you're like really trying to draw out what that bigger vision is for you, I want to invite you to take my 5-day Ignite Challenge. The 5-day Ignite Challenge goes over the 5 basic principles I believe it takes to create something more for yourself. It's a solid foundation, which many of us lack in the beginning, and only because of trial and error have I learned how to put this together in a way that would bless other people. So it starts with understanding what your mission is, what you exist to do right now, understanding your why power, which is more than most people will tell you it is. Your vision, your bigger vision, what it is that you feel like you're doing right now with your mission that's going to get you to that next level and serve so many beautiful things along the way. What your values are. What are your values that are going to hold true even when things around you are kind of shaky and the people around you are kind of shaky? And then the last one is accountability and aligned actions. You want to have some rock solid accountability that's going to hold your feet to the fire and remind you of why you're doing what you're doing and making these sacrifices and saying yes to these things and no to these things when it gets hard. And the last one is taking aligned action. The answer to insecurity and to fear and to doubt is taking aligned action, taking action that aligns with your vision and your mission and just going for it and being unapologetic about who you are becoming in the process. So if that sounds like that's for you, we'll drop the link below. I hope that you'll join us. It's a do it at your own pace kind of course. So if you are rocking through it and you get through it in one day, great. But some of the questions that are asked in there take you a little bit longer to really dig in and figure out, okay, what is it that I want most? What is it that I see for myself, for my family? And allow yourself to go there. Allow yourself to dream bigger and to make a vision board. And it doesn't necessarily have to be things. Mine has words on it. Words that remind me who I am, what I'm working for, what is important to me this year, and help me keep that unshakable belief as I go throughout this year, as I make big changes, as I make moves, whether they're big or small, it doesn't matter. But I hope this has blessed you. If it has, feel free to pass it along. I hope that you have had the most amazing morning and that today is a turning point in your week. Talk soon, friends.